What's going on, everyone? My name is Tom from Dreadlabs, and today we're going to talk about freelancing.
Dreadlabs.
Alright, so it has been quite a while since I did a creative rant video, and I think the last time actually I just had an iPhone for a camera, so the quality might also be super low. Anyways, I want to start a new video series where I guide you and give you some tips on how to start becoming a freelancer. And that can be a freelancer in graphic design, animation, anything creative really. Even if you want to become like a ghost producer or something, these tips still might apply to you. Basically, I'm going to teach you how to start making a living off of doing what you love. And that's probably being creative. As of recording this, as you can probably tell as well, I look really tired, and that's because I quite am. And that's because last week I actually opened my first office outside of my house. So officially, as of April 2022, I will be renting out an office space where I will be working alongside a couple of people who will work for me. But like probably a lot of you, I just started out from my bedroom inside my parents' house. And I thought it might be an interesting video to give you guys kind of like a roadmap of my career to begin with, and also a couple of tips on how to start out becoming a freelancer, right? So in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about freelancing and give you guys a couple of tips on how to start freelancing, and in the next video I will do a quick breakdown of the roadmap of my career so far. And that basically goes back from, I guess we can talk about like what happens ever since I left high school. I think that's the best way to start out. If you do not know me and if you're new to the channel, my name is Tom. I run this creative platform called Dreadlabs where I help you become a better creative. I've been doing this for a living for over a year now. But basically I started out as a freelance graphic designer and animator from the Netherlands. And after over a year of doing this, I found a couple of things that I probably wanted to know before I dove into this, because sometimes you just have to make mistakes and you learn from those mistakes. And today I want to share those, well, not really mistakes, or maybe like just cautionary measures that you can take in order to become a freelancer as safe as possible. Alright, so this video will basically be divided in 4 topics. The first one will be finances. So before you start freelancing, no matter where you're at in life, I would always try to make sure that you have a big buffer of like money. And that sounds pretty straightforward and obvious, you know, of course, but the thing is, if you want to start out a business, you might have to do a couple of investments. For example, you might want to invest in a nice computer or a nice laptop, or maybe like a drawing tablet, or maybe any other gear that you might be wanting to be using with whatever your profession is. In my case, it was a €3,500 MacBook that I got in 2018, I think, and that was basically like a big game changer for me, because at that point I was taking design way more seriously. And the other reason is, of course, if you do not get enough clients in the first couple of months, or if there is a month where you aren't able to get as much clients as you might think you were getting, this buffer is really helpful. And I didn't really experience it that much personally, but I can imagine that a couple of people would really be happy with a buffer. For example, when COVID first hit, you know, because I am a graphic designer, my clients mostly include people from the music industry, and when a global pandemic hit, there were obviously a couple of more like small town or smaller producers, event organizers that weren't able to host their own events anymore, or some DJs who couldn't get their own bookings anymore. And basically that meant that they did not have the budget to hire me anymore. You know, like at that point, it's very nice to have a buffer so that you can still survive for another month, you know, pay your rent, get some groceries. Maybe if you're feeling adventurous, even invest in something. So I would definitely say make a buffer. So if you are still having a job, or maybe like a weekend job because you're still a student, I would say try to save up a little bit and, you know, get yourself in a financially safe position, I guess. So the second piece of advice is try to start your freelancing career beside having a job or, you know, being in college. Obviously also this might not apply to everyone, but I was still a college student when I started freelancing and started working for clients, to the point where I had a lot of free time that I put into my own business, getting better at my craft and getting more clients and expanding my network basically. And the reason why it's obviously safe to do this, besides having a part-time or full-time job or being in college, is, well, if you're in college, you might have a student loan. I know it's different in every country, but here in the Netherlands, you can have a student loan which will keep you financially safe, because you're still a college student, so you don't really have an actual job yet, or if you have like a weekend job or a part-time job or even a full-time job really, that can keep you financially safe, and it gives you the time to start out. Maybe you only can start out with one client and that doesn't take a lot of time yet. So that way you really have the opportunity to start out in an environment that's very safe financially, and it also is probably not as time consuming. And you might be wondering, okay, what happens if you get like a lot of clients and you don't have enough time because you need to focus on college? And at that point I would say try to increase your prices. Let's say that you have 10 potential clients in a month and you want to do them all. See if you can increase your prices, and there's probably a couple that will drop off, but for those clients that will drop off, your increased prices might be able to make up for that financially. If you do not have enough time but you do have enough clients, then it's probably time to up your prices. And I do know that it might be really, really tough to do this full-time job, probably not a job that you're happy with if you want to start freelancing, or combining those two jobs. I know that can be hard, but if it's something that you really, really want, I am sure that you will find the perseverance to get through that. So if you have this financial buffer and you also can start out next to your full-time job, part-time job, or like college situation, you are pretty much financially safe to start out your own business and start getting, your own show on the road, I guess. So the third point I want to talk about is don't be picky yet. And what I mean by that is there's probably a lot of stuff that you find fun and that you like to do. For example, I was really into graphic design, music production, but also animation. And what I always try to do is see if I could, do all of those things. Going back even further, I was actually making websites for local businesses in my area. And what I did is I really like graphic design, but I wasn't really doing anything with it yet or making money off of it. So I offered these small businesses, I would make like some social media banners and social media posts, just so I could do a little bit of Photoshop next to my coding. And you can also do that when you're, for example, a graphic designer. You can offer your clients to do like social media animations or videos, even provide background music for those if you want to. So yeah, I would really say see if you can combine those different practices into one to make it more appealing for your clients. Because that way your unique selling point can be that they can come to you for all of those problems instead of their graphic design problem alone. And I know that at some point a lot of people would advise you to stick to one thing and specialize, because that's where you can get more money with it, and that's pretty much true as well. But at the start of your career, it's not the worst thing if you can find multiple practices to start out with and work with for multiple clients. What I would advise, however, is I wouldn't do like 10 different things for 10 different clients, because then it's easy to lose track of what you're doing and what you have to do. And that kind of brings me to a larger point, which I will make probably a couple of times more along the way of this video series. But my point is basically it's better to have 5 really, really good clients than 20 mediocre clients. And what I mean by that is if you want to do all of those different things, it's probably easier to do them for one client. For example, like I said, a social media animation combined with some graphic design or print work, for example. Instead of doing an animation for this person, doing like some music production for that person, doing some print design for that person, doing a website for that person. And why that's a little bit inconvenient at the beginning of your career is the person that you're, for example, making a website for will recommend you making websites to other clients. So then your network expands into making websites more, and then maybe not as much in the music production, and then it does in the animation. So your network starts kind of getting all over the place, while it's even better if you get a couple of more higher paying clients that let you do all of those things at once. It also helps you focus more, of course. And the final part is, and that's a question that I get a lot, is how to find clients and how to expand your network. And there's actually a really good video on this by the Futur, which I'm going to recommend, and I'll put a link down below in the description. But basically what you want to do is see which kind of clients or what kind of industry you want to be in. And you probably already have an idea at like a certain level. For example, for me I used to be a music producer a lot, and I really was into that music scene, the DJ scene, internationally, but also like kind of locally. And I was basically seeing what can I do for those people in the scene and how can I make myself noticeable. The most important part is make yourself noticeable without being like a pushy person. And I'll give you an example of this. For example, I really wanted to do event flyers in my local area, but I didn't really have people that were able to reach out to me because I didn't really knew anyone. And what I did was I basically tried to host my own events together with some friends of mine in like the smallest bar we could find, and I just did my own designs for them. And of course we wanted to have a couple of local DJs play there that we wanted to know better, or want to have in our own network. So we started booking them. They were like, okay, who designed these flyers? Or like at some point you will start getting to talk about like the design of the poster, or talk about how you are a designer, but you're not gonna approach these people with like, hey, I'm a designer, can I design your next album cover? That's not how it works. They're not looking for that at the moment. Because if they need an album cover done, or if they need a poster done or whatever, they will reach out to you once they know that you are there and they know that you're good. So just start it off easy and a little bit low-key, talk about what they do, show interest in them, because the number one thing people like to talk about is themselves. So show interest in them, maybe also show them that you did your research a little bit. So for example, let's say, oh, I saw your gig the other night at blah, blah, blah. I really liked it, blah, blah, blah. I like the music that you play, and then you start talking a little bit, and then at some point you actually can drop that you are a designer or an animator or whatever, or maybe like they will even bring it up themselves. Maybe you at the end start exchanging Instagram profiles or whatever, and at that point it's basically showing off your work. Getting that portfolio out there, use your Instagram, Facebook page even, I don't know what it is that you like communicate with. Maybe it's even like a TikTok page, and I'm an old person, it's also possible. But be sure that they can see what you're making, because at that point, if they see your stuff and they like it, they will reach out to you. Believe me, this happened to me 100 times. So I can imagine that this video rises up a lot of questions, especially for the people who are in the midst of this crisis where they want to start a freelance career but don't know how to start. And to those people I say, just leave a comment or send me a message on Instagram. If you need some advice, if you want to talk things through, feel free to reach out to me. You can do that down below, and the cool thing is if you reach out to me in the comments or on our Discord server, the link for that is also in the description by the way, you can also get advice not only from me but from people from the whole Dreadlabs community. And in the Dreadlabs community are a lot of people who are already doing this for a living as well, probably some even longer than me. But just know that you are not alone in this, and yeah, I want to create this very engaging, nurturing community where it's a safe and informative place to start doing what you love. So yeah, in the next video I will do a roadmap of my career so far, and I have a couple of other videos that I want to plan out yet, and I'm not going to talk about those yet, but yeah, it's all about like getting more money as a freelancer, getting to make a living out of what you love to do, and yeah, I think that's very important. So yeah. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, if you thought it was informative, if you learned something new, or if you have any questions, please leave a like and a comment and a subscribe if you haven't already, because it will really support me and my channel out. If you want to get project files from all of my tutorials, so those are Photoshop files, Illustrator files, Cinema 4D files, more stuff like that, you can become a patron of mine. So if you don't know, besides getting project files from my tutorials, you also get a 15% discount in my asset web store, as well as an exclusive Discord role on the Discord server. If you go one tier up, you'll also get access to some exclusive videos, including a video series on how to start a clothing brand from scratch. So if this is something you're interested in, or if you just want to support the channel, there's a link down below to become a patron. That being said, I want to give a huge shout out to the patrons already there. Thank you so much, you help this channel up and running and make me be able to give you guys new videos every week. So with all that being said, this was Tom from Dreadlabs tuning out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.